Adil, shall we?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So, my name is Mayfil, and co-hosting this program right now. So, on behalf of MMAC, we would like to welcome all of you who have joined this program in this evening hours. Uh, we welcome Dr. Famila Pangar as well. She's a very close friend of ours. She's a family friend as well. We know her for a long time. Uh, Before I can get into a little bit introduction of her, I just want to refer to a book which I have read a few years back, actually, and this actually brings in memories of what probably Dr. Famila is going to touch upon. Uh, a book called Anthropologist on Mars. Okay, this was a book written by Oliver Scales. He was a neurologist. He wrote seven tales about exceptional experiences of intelligent and exceptional people. It's a book which, if anybody's interested, it's a small book. It has seven tales, so you could refer to. One of the stories was of a memory artist. Okay, so this person who lived in a town called Pontino in Italy. Okay, so he he lived there in his childhood. Uh, so by the time of about when he grew up into about 20 years old, he had to leave the town because of Germans taking over the town and a lot of issues and problems from the government and stuff like that. So he was living in a very small town where he was very much attached to. So he had to leave the town. He had to set on sail, moved out. I think he lived in a couple of countries before he moved into US and in San Francisco. This, about 20 years later, he refreshes his memories by drawing pictures. And you wouldn't believe, if you read the book, you'll know that he could draw pictures of his house, the streets, the windows, even the bricks of his house without any change. I mean, it's exceptionally correct. You would see the dots and small details of the bricks of the house without any changes on his paintings. So that story was really touching about this person. And there was also mentions about a blind Negro named Tom. He was performing at a house when he was 13. He was an idiot in everything but music, language, and imitating. He was blind as well. So this kid, when he was 7, could play three musical instruments at the same time without learning, and he was blind, right? So exceptional skills, exceptional intelligence, and when he was 7, he performed in a concert, and he also performed at the White House. So there are child prodigies who are not retarded, who are not autistic, but there are kids who are very intelligent as well, right? There was a mention of a person called George Parker who could do logarithm tables of 6 or 7 places, right? And there are other kids who are astonishingly verbally proven, right? There were kids mentioned in other references where kids could read newspapers when they were 2 years old, right? So so we are talking about intelligence here, and that's why we want to welcome Dr. Famila here to show us the other dimensions in intelligence, which could help us, to understand ourselves and also to help our kids. Now, I want to give you a quick introduction or a quick, mention about what Dr. Famila Pingat is. She has 17 years of experience. She has developed curriculums for with a lot of results and innovative methods. She has a PhD in education. She has an MPhil. She has a master's in mathematics. She has a master's in psychology, and she has an MA in education. I think that's probably more than what something is what I would imagine somebody could achieve. So a warm welcome from all of us here in Canada, in the US, or anywhere who is attending the session. And I would like to turn my turn the podium to Dr. Famila so she could help us understand all about what she wants to talk about, this several dimensions of intelligence.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for such a nice introduction, Mafilka. So today I would like to share few information about giftedness or gifted children and about multiple intelligences. So hope you all would be getting some information out of it. So I would like to share my screen, Mafilka.
Adil, um, uh, you can share your screen, right? You can. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can see it.
You can see, right?
Yeah.
So okay, I hope I'm audible, right?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah. So before just getting into my topic, I would just like to tell you a few things. Today's education system is, we all know that because when you compare with your traditional system of education, which through which we all learn, so this is entirely different. And another thing is like today's education system is child-centered education, as we all know that. But even though to some extent it is teacher-centered education too. So where we have a gap, learning gap in our, you can see in our children, and this we have to understand being parents also, not only like because we cannot just rely on only the education system or the school. So being parents, we should know that what is the different types of intelligence, or like, and most of the parents, I think you would be eager to know that about giftedness too, because to what level you can call it as, or to what level of achievement of our children could be called as giftedness. So let us not discuss all these things here. And I would like to have a interactive style of discussion rather than like just I give you a lecture on this thing. And this is one of the quoting with being a teacher, being a parent, I'm impressed with. And always this I would no, I would like to highlight that is this is William J. Paris quoting. So this you all have to consider, that is all children can learn and succeed. Now, see here in education system, we do believe that all children can learn and succeed, but not all on the same day in the same way. So being parents, we all wish to see that our children are achieving great heights, and like and most of the time like we would be liking to see them like the in a way like what we wanted, right? So but you be aware that children, they can succeed, they can achieve anything we wanted to. So with this quoting, I just try to get into our topic. In our our education system, you can see very heterogeneous group rather than when we were studying. Like we have very high achievers, we are average students, we have we had slow learners in our classes. And if we think of our achievement during school days, so we would be fitting into any category of this one, average or above average, below average, or maybe high achievers, etc. Right? So here we discuss about gifted children or giftedness. In today's era, especially I would factual form or in a very factual information, if I that could be associated with the word talented and creative. So immediately, if I ask you what is gifted according to you, I think some of you could give me the answer that it would be like, the talented children whom we address, or like whom we call as the creative children. So actually, these two words are the subgroups, or I can even say that it is instead of gifted, you can use these two words as talented and creative. But it is much more beyond that, because even the subgroup of, you can call it as a subgroup of giftedness or gifted, when you define the gifted children. And especially like various provinces, or various countries, or various places, they have their own interpretation of the term called giftedness or gifted children. Okay. And when you take the entire population in any schools, approximately 2% of the students in school may be gifted. And although it is very difficult to determine like the percentage, but this is the research studies reveals that any population of the school, any school, if you take the entire population, out of that 2% or 3%, you can see are gifted children. But I don't know like how many of the schools, and especially you all are in such a developed country, and I think you all have the facilities to understand, or even the schools can identify their gifted students and give the education accordingly. But in India, like, we don't have such schools, and we have the schools who can give some kind of training to our children, that is whom you call as the gifted children. So we have to understand that even though if it is a it sounds like very very small percentage, but if you are untouching this percentage, like you don't know like the kind of the reward result which we get with this 2%. So it is important to identify these children. It is important to give such kind of education to these children, where we have to understand their talent, we have to understand their creativity, and we have to mold them accordingly. And so here the giftedness, because generally this is a question like most of the parents they have in their mind that like what are the reason, or no, so whom do we call as gifted children, or like what would be the reason for giftedness. So it is like equally 50-50 percentage, I could tell you. It is both nature and nurture, that is both heredity and environment has equal place in that. So few children they get maybe if their parents are having like extra talents, or if their parents are creative, so definitely the children also would get it. Okay. Or else the environment which they are living in, maybe the education system which in which they are living or studying, or the parents or the school or the environment or the society which they live in, that also could be another reason for their giftedness in the early ages. uh, so uh, whom do you call as a gifted child? uh, Before getting into this one, I just want to see that like what is according to you like gifted, or what how do you define gifted children? You can just give me like your answers in the chat box. Whom do you call as gifted children? Like according to you, I don't want any like kind of information. What is your opinion about giftedness, or whom do you call as gifted child? Okay, Mafika. Please, parents, I just want like what do you think like about giftedness? Okay. Okay, special skills like music, art, and ahead of other kids of the same age, memory, a kid who has exceptional skills, okay, higher than their peers, okay, showing some skill that same age group usually didn't show, or interested, okay, curious kids. Very good response. Okay, any kid having a skill well developed ahead from their peers. Okay. mature for the age? Good. Fine, fine. Thank you so much. So see here, like most of, so this is the like now what I read, like this is the idea which we have about giftedness. So this all somewhere connects. Okay, some are like near to the concept of giftedness. Yeah. So here, as I told you, like we don't have a very very fixed definition according to today's world, because our children are exceptionally good, which we all know that, and they're really really talented, and we know that they are showcasing their extra ability like anyway, right? So generally, see here, you can call the children who has very very high level of mental ability, and extraordinarily they are good in some specific area, so we can call such children as gifted children. So they possess extraordinarily like a very good knowledge in certain area. It doesn't mean that it has to be in a mathematics subject, it has to be in a subject called science, so it could be in any area, so that is termed as giftedness. So to understand, I think especially your country and all, like especially the schools, they would be conducting the IQ test, and they would be categorizing or segregating the students according to the scores which they attain in the IQ test. So generally most of the countries, they consider a child to be gifted now if the child scores above 130 and beyond in IQ test, then they are classified. I mean, there starts the giftedness. Again, the above categories are there. We will see in the another slides that one. So, who are the gifted children? If their IQ score is beyond 130 or 140, like between 130 to 140, then these children are called as gifted children. So remember, like if if this we have a lot of standardized IQ test, so usually the schools would be giving this kind of test to whom they identified as extraordinary children. So if they score this above 130, like then you can understand that they have some potential, some extra ability. So they cannot keep in the classroom or in a general classroom where you have the average learners or just above average learners or below average learners and all, so which will not be satisfying their needs. So however a gifted child, like they can they can have this kind of abilities in any area. It could be in a verbal or a, like they're possessing extraordinary control over the language or mathematical ability, or they are very very good at science or visual or art or music, or even in intrapersonal communication. So these children are like, now if you come across these children, like those who have the ability in any of these areas, do understand that like they have, because if it is what no if it is much beyond the expectation level of you in these areas, then we have to understand, we have to give them IQ test, we have to understand like now which gifted level they are falling into, and accordingly the kind of education we have to provide to these children. So what are the qualities or like excuse me. Yeah. So, how do you identify these children? If you come across anything, any qualities of or any characteristics of this kind, like you have to understand that okay, there is some potential in my child, and where you can give them the test and can identify that which level they're falling into. So in academics, say don't be under the impression that academics, if they are really scoring well, 90, 99 percentage, 98 percentage, 10 percentage, especially in Kerala, in our country and all, you can see that nowadays like 10th standard students, 12th standard students, they are really really scoring high. Even most of the students in 12th and 10th and all, especially 12th and all, recently the results, like you can see that they are scoring 10 percentage. It doesn't mean that they are gifted. Okay, we can call them as the bright child or brilliant children. So if it is not only like based on the academic performance scale, but they would showcase some kind of very very superior performances. Okay, and they are very very rapid learners. Okay, within like I can tell you, like within fraction of second they can just learn whatever which is prescribed in their curriculum, if it is maths or science or social sciences or language. So which sounds them like very easy and this is nothing. So that kind of attitude you can see in these children, like they are very very superior learners. And they usually finish their work very fast now when you compare with the peer group. So they could do anything very fast when you compare with the very high achievers in their class. So this children, and you can see that the kind of work which they produce or which they give you, that would be really creative and innovative. And nowadays we know that the kind of education system, when we compare with our traditional system, we have assignments, we have projects, and like we have much more activities. So any kind of this assignments or activities or project, you can see some difference in them, so which would be beyond the expectation level of the teachers or the parents. So they come up with some kind of products that is really innovative or creative. So that is one of the characteristics features of these children. And you can see the perfectionism in these children, because whatever the work which they do, and the product, as I just told you, like if it is a project, you can see that project, it has some speciality. That would be different when you compare with their peer group. And that would be beyond the expectation level of the teacher, and it would be very very perfect. That is the overall the output will be really creative and really innovative. And these children have a great memory. So because see, generally, like when we talk about memory and when we talk about academics, and we compare with the brilliant children. So when brilliant children, they have the great memory. Okay, but these children are little more ahead. They have great memory, very sharp memory. They can retain in their memory for such a long time. And so that is the reason, see here immediately, like any kind of application level questions, they can solve very easily. So problem solving skill of these children is very highly developed one. So I think you all might have heard about the Olympiads. We have various Olympiads for mathematics, science, and even languages and arts, social science subjects, etc. So the children, those who are really performing or achieving in Olympiads, they are the gifted children. Or even brilliant children also fall into that category. But generally, because the level of the problems which we give in Olympiads, okay, international Olympiads, so that is very very high level. And these children, no, especially for gifted children, those kind of competitions is required or necessary, and they would like to participate in those kind of areas, because this kind of competition or this level of competition satisfies their needs. And they are really innovative and creative in any area which they are excelling. And another some negative qualities of gift, and it is not negative quality, it is the qualities of the characteristics features which you can see in our creative children. That is anxiety problem. Okay, because always their thoughts or no, their needs are not satisfied, because in a regular classroom which is not being addressed. So they have the anxiety problem. And really they face, because the kind of education system which we give to our children, it is not satisfactory for according to their level. Okay, and maybe the subject which they learn or the area which they are excelling, so like this all disturbs them, so they have some anxiety disorders. So we have to understand that sometimes we would be thinking like, even they are brilliant, they can learn, and sometimes they they behave in a very weird way. And so obviously they have the disruptive behavior. Okay, and you can see very visibly in most of the gifted children this all negative side. In generally, when we look at this all behavior of the children, it is in a negative way. But this all are the characteristic features of the gifted children. And really, and in general classrooms, they really get boredom. that is what I just told you. The curriculum which we give them and the syllabus which you teach them, so it is not satisfactory according to their level. So and especially the classroom, we all know that we have experienced that. How could you address the gifted children? Because generally we teach, the teachers handles the classroom according to the homogeneous, I mean, sorry, it is a very heterogeneous classroom, that is, but we are addressing a homogeneous group called average children, right? So our level of teaching and the level of the activities or whatever which we give, it is according to that level. So obviously these children easily get disinterested in that one. And even you can see that if their abilities or their talents are not touched, or if it is untouched, again depression is another characteristics feature, or I can say tell you like this is another problem or gifted children which they face. And most of the gifted children, and they would like to be very isolated from their peer groups, because you know that, because they cannot or select a friend, or they cannot mingle with the group excuse me, mingle with the groups which they wanted to. Actually, their level of thoughts, the kind of talents which they have, with whom they wanted to share, because there is no mutual exchange, because there should be a one-to-one exchange, or there should be one-to-one connection between their friends or their peer groups. So this is the one thing which they are lacking, and usually then they become, even though they are extroverts, but slowly they becomes introverts. That is one of the visible characteristic feature which we can observe. So these are the few, even we have, these are the few characteristic features you can observe in our gifted children. And as I told you, like we are identifying these children by giving different IQ tests. We have lots of standardized tests. I think usually your schools would be giving any one of this IQ test, and they are categorizing our children in this level. And this is the level the parents have to understand, or the schools have to understand. And see here, we have the level called bright. As I told you, like we have in our education system very high achievers, 95, 98, 99 percentage in 10, 12, or in graduation, post graduation and all. Doesn't mean that they are gifted. They are brilliant children. You can classify them as bright children. So whose IQ score is above 115 or 120, above and within 130. So they are now falling into the group called bright children. Remember, so most of the time, the education system is confused, in the sense like parents or the society is confused with the high achievers with the gifted children. So they are the high achievers, or whom you can call as the bright or brilliant children. And gifted children, as we just discussed in the meaning, like you can see that if the score is 130 and above, then you can call them as gifted children. So there start your gifted children, okay, in the level of giftedness. And if they score above 140, that is 145 and above, within 159, then you can call them as highly gifted. Okay, so because generally we take only one term called gifted children, and we would be under the impression that, oh, if the score is 130 and above, then all are gifted. That giftedness level is also varies. Okay, and if the score is 160 to 174 or 170 and all, then you can call them as exceptionally gifted. And if the score is really 170 or 180 above, they are called as profoundly gifted. So remember, if your children are falling into any of this group, so that kind of education which we have to provide, or something. See here. Otherwise, remember, generally in schools and colleges, they would identify these children, and you cannot take them such a long way if you are not providing with such kind of education. When if there is a point when it is untouched, you can say that, like completely, like then the negative qualities which The negative qualities mean that is a characteristics of the giftedness which we just discussed, that you could see that no, they do have the anxiety problem, see here, or depression, and they fall into depression or kind of very destructive behavior and all, they end up with something like this. So it is important that like you have to address the level of the giftedness of the child, and we have to provide, or the schools or the education system, it has to provide the kind of education what they wanted. And this is a comparison chart which you can just go through that, because usually like no, we are confused with the very high achievers and gifted learners. So as I told you, because especially because here after 10th, if our children gets A plus in everything, or if they score 99 on 100, and parents or the school or society usually expect much more from them, it doesn't mean that they are gifted. Okay, they are high achievers, they really wanted to work hard. If they really work hard, then they can achieve our score. But it doesn't mean that because very high expectation the society usually they keep. Yeah, I know. Yeah, yes, yes, I know that. I know this is exactly like no, correct, because Ontario and all I know that all developed, most of the developed countries, they have in the primary classes itself, in the very early stages itself, like they are like classifying their students according to their performance or the level, or even IQ test is being given, and even those children are getting that kind of education. But you have to remember that that is only up to school level. All the parents have to understand that if the education system which you are providing, which you are giving to your school children, that is only up to the school, I mean your, that is up to higher secondary education, not up to graduation level or post graduation level. And you can see that most of the children in graduation level, post graduation level, whom you classified as or whom you called as gifted children, are not getting that kind of education in higher levels. Okay, so this can be this can be given, or this can be provided only up to higher higher secondary education, not beyond that one. So you cannot see beyond that level, like no, it's satisfying, because a higher level, higher education system, you don't have any kind of gifted classes, you have only in schools, in school education system. So that is one of the drawbacks, like which our children face in higher level of education. And here you can, yeah. So you can identify the giftedness by giving the IQ test, and after that it is also even the teachers. It is easy for the teachers to understand what level of giftedness they have, the children they have, and in which area they are excelling in. So which is possible with Gardner's multiple intelligence theory that we are going to discuss again after this concept of giftedness. So see here, each child, they have really various strength, or else potential or talents in different areas. Okay, so this giftedness, by giving the various tests, it is easy for you to understand that in which level of giftedness they are falling into, and it is equally important that to what extent or to what level their potential or talent is, and it is also in which area. So Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence, which is used to help to classify these students' giftedness in which area. So usually our classroom and most of the countries, their curriculum, their education system works on the theory called multiple intelligence. So this model, or this kind of learning style, help the teachers to understand the potential and the ability or the talent of their students may have in any area. It can be in mathematics or language, or in in sports, or in any areas, or arts, okay, dance or music. So this is easy for the teachers to understand their area by using Gardner's multiple intelligence theory. So Gardner's multiple intelligence theory is in this 8 areas, okay, which is in linguistic area, logical, mathematical, and naturalistic, spatial, bodily kinesthetic, intelligence, musical, interpersonal, intrapersonal. So one by one, we'll see that, and which are these areas and what are the potential of our children. So this is how he has classified the area, 8 areas. So which will be easy for us to understand that in which area our children are falling into, or which are the areas, not only which area or on one area, or which are the areas like they are good at. So this is Howard Gardner's multiple. These 8 intelligence are called as Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence. So is Mr. Howard Gardner. He's an American developmental psychologist, and right now he's working at Harvard's Graduate School of Education as a professor of cognition and education. And he is also leading Harvard project, which is called Project Zero on the education, and in this lines. And this is the theory which he has developed in early 80s. Okay, and which he has mentioned in his book called Frames of Mind: The Theory of Multiple Intelligence. So, and he's author of many books, and which has been translated into different languages. And most of the education, most of the curriculum in different countries, they would like to implement, or they are following the theory of multiple intelligence to implement their curriculum. And what he believes intelligence is entirely different. So, just could you please tell me what is intelligence according to you all? How do you define intelligence? What, according to you, is intelligence? Yes, friends, please, what, according to you, is intelligence? Applying knowledge and skills. Okay, learning skills. Immediately, like intelligent, we call our children, they are really intelligent. So, okay, able to solve problems. Okay, good. A level of knowledge in one or more areas. Okay, adapting successfully to their environment and thriving. Okay. Mental ability. Okay, Shanaz. Good. Ability to focus and pay attention. Okay. Learning quickly. Logical thinking and reasoning. Very adaptive. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you for the good response. And see, we all know that immediately, like we know, very commonly we use the term call intelligence. And when somebody asks you, like, what is intelligence, like, we all start thinking, right? No, okay. So, see here, why this theory has emerged out means that is because there was a time we were giving the definition for intelligence in one point of view. Okay, so that was, according to Gardner, that was too limited. That is, see here, your mathematical ability, or if you are excel in a subject called science, then it was tagged as intelligence at one point of time in the traditional system of education. And here, that is the reason he has brought out this concept called multiple intelligence. And he believes that intelligence in that way, in the traditional way, where you have only considered IQ tests, that is purely based on maths or science, and when the score, when you consider and label them as intelligent or not intelligent, above average, below average, this classification. So he found it very very limited. Okay, so the theory of multiple intelligence, which suggests that we all can excel with different types of intelligence. See here, and most of the successful person in our in the world, like, whom do you identify? It could be in a sports area or politics, okay, or in any performing arts area, or else like in science and technology, okay. So like we have a lot of examples. So for example, see somebody is very good at sports, okay. Maybe the person called like Sachin Tendulkar, you all know that he has studied only up to school level, okay. He could not complete his education. Most of the sports person, if you take, but it doesn't mean that he is not intelligent, right? So that was the definition given in the traditional system of education. So what is the no, the contradictory only, that is what like Howard Gardner believes, and like he believes that like we all have we all are having, to some potential, no, so to some extent the different potential we all have, and that could be categorized as intelligence. And see here, that is a reason he brought out, or he has come up with this beautiful theory, which is called multiple intelligence theory. So this is a psychological as well as educational theory put forth by the psychologist Howard Gardner, and he suggests that, or believes that, like you have different kinds of intelligence which is existing in all human beings. That is the reason. See, generally our education system, or when they label any child as no, idiot or not having any potential, that is not true according to Howard Gardner. He believes that each children, each person, each individual, and it also suggests that varying levels of these different intelligence. So that is the reason we all have. See, some of you can very nicely you can talk, or you can communicate with people, and some of us, like even though we have very good amount of because we don't have they can, that is the dancers, other performing arts people, like they can represent through that when they can communicate with people than a verbal way, or they can present the things in a performing way. So we all have, each person has their own unique cognitive profile according to this theory, because we know that it has various levels, or which has different dimensions of intelligence. And this is what Gardner believes, that our individual differences, because here we know that even no, the identical twins, even they are different in different many ways. So we are not all the same, we do not have the same kinds of minds, and education works most effectively for most individuals if human differences are taken seriously. So that is the reason the dimensions of intelligence it's been given, so to address the individuality of each one of us. Then if it has been addressed, then we can make the unique cognitive profile of each individual. I think because whenever like we give this topic in schools or colleges and all, I have heard that our students are giving the answers, like because it is easy for most of them that okay, I'm excelling, and especially the average students or just below average students, I'm not able to identify that which is my potential, or which is which dimensions of intelligence, or which area of intelligence I'm excelling, because everything like to some extent, okay. So like even nowadays, like our children are not able to decide what they wanted to. So and it is easy for the children to understand their potential when we address their individual differences. So if your education system, if it addresses, then no, it is easy for them to have their own unique profile. And this is what intelligence according to Gardner, Howard Gardner, and this is the definition which he has given in its Frames of Mind, the book which he has written, the first book which he has written in 1983. Okay, so here I asked you the question that what is intelligence, right? So I got a number of responses. So here he believes that which is the ability to solve problems. And we need to understand that even though our children are excelling in different areas today, but if they face any kind of problem, if they come across any challenging situations in their life, okay, to addressing it in a smooth way, to handling it in a proper way, which is difficult for today's generation. So it is not only like the intelligent, the IQ level which they have. So here he believes that the ability to solve problems or to create products that are valued within one or more cultural setting. So that means the practical value of something, or the kind of solutions which they come out with when they face different problems in their life. So that is according to him intelligence. See here, intelligence will suddenly like that word, like when I asked you, like different things comes to our mind. So what we have to remember, when it is according to him, that it is in any way, in any area, like when we are able to solve or to address our problems, or whatever which they come out with something, so if it is if that products is something new or innovative, or which is which has its own practical value in any kind of society, then he calls it as intelligence. And see, as I just told you, like this theory believes that multiple intelligence theory believes that each people, each one of us, are born with one or the other talents. So this theory proposes that people are not born with all of the intelligence they will ever have, which says that intelligence can be learned throughout life. So I think there was a time like we all believed that, okay, the individual who possesses certain amount of mathematical or scientific knowledge only would be labeled as intelligent, and which cannot be learned. But now he believes that, Garner believes that it can be learned throughout life. I think I have seen that, especially in our city and all, parents in the early age, that is especially in their kindergarten age, they would be sending their children to like all activities. And because the parents are not able to identify, because that at the age of 3 years or 4 years, we are not able to identify what is the potential of our children, right? So here they send for music classes, dance classes, even for drawings, and some kind of small activity based classrooms. Like they send their children to learn various things. And that at particular age, may say that at the age of 8 years to 10 years, when you would be able to understand, okay, this is the potential of our children. So here, that is what even Gardner believes, that okay, intelligence which can be learned throughout life. And as I told you, we have 8 dimensions of multiple intelligence. Okay, so the first one is called verbal intelligence or linguistic intelligence. So it is very evident that you all understand that it's about language, right? So this is the these people are called as word smart. Okay, linguistic intelligence. So Gardner calls them as word smart. So these children are having the ability to use language. So they have the extraordinary ability to use the language. So they have very good command over any language. It could be the native or mother tongue. Okay, it could be any other language or international language. So, but whatever whatever there is in your there in their mind, whatever knowledge or information which they wanted to communicate, it is easy for them to communicate, because they have a that they have good command over the language. Okay, so it can be in any language. It doesn't mean that it is only in international language or in any foreign language. It can be any native language, national language, or regional language, whatever it would be. So here they have, they can play with language. Generally, I can just tell you that, because it is easy for them to sometimes write and give you something they wanted to communicate with you. Okay, or as speaking orally, okay, they can give you. Or sometimes a few people, like they communicate through story writing or storytelling. Okay, or is poem. So they can understand the words and manipulate the words and structure. And these people, they really enjoy reading, writing, speaking, and all. So good command over the vocabulary, grammar, etc. So what we have to understand, if the child really possess this intelligence, being parents also, we have to support them, not only the education system or the school or the teachers. If you mold them in such a way by giving such kind of opportunities, like to enhance their potential, so writing, talking, reading, okay, or playing with words, jumbles, this all things which you can give to your children, and see here, then they can excel in their own areas. So different careers, when you that see here, nowadays we all know that, because there was a time only, like the people who are now highly potential in verbal linguistic area, so they were I think either writers or poets, authors, etc. But now you have in number of careers for these children. So what in which they wanted to shine, or they wanted to work. So this can be, because we have a, the list is it goes endless list actually. Few only I have highlighted here, so they can select any kind of careers, okay, according to their choices. If they are good at writing, they can be author of, they can write down something, or novels, or it can, if they really like to represent two poems, means poets, novelists. So we know that politicians, actors, so, and journalists. So here I think especially like we have now, like content writers, they have really good opportunities. So here if they are really, because we know that there are children who doesn't like maths, who doesn't like science, and even social science subjects, and only likes language subjects. So they can, you can guide them in these lines to become any of or to opt to any of these careers. So we have a lot of list, okay, few names only, you can just go through that. So the famous people, who are the poets, who are the writers, okay, who are the people, the world leaders, okay. So we have the list, n number of list. So if the people, the children who are possessing linguistic and verbal intelligence, so they can play with language like anything, because we have, especially that even nowadays, in today's era, the children, those who are possessing very high linguistic or the verbal intelligence, they're really having a great opportunity. It's not only in these lines, okay. So they have really good opportunities today. So there's all like various things which our children enjoy, okay. So journal writing, reading, speaking, excuse me, storytelling, discussing, creative writing. Especially I want to highlight that one, because today children, and they know, they would go and they would like to choose this creative writing. If you give, especially if they have the good command over the language, that is, if they possess the verbal or linguistic intelligence, creative writing, and you can know all debates. So these all are the various activities, generally this kind of children, they would really enjoy. And the next intelligence is called as logical mathematical intelligence. So which is purely about maths, right? So the children who possess logical mathematical intelligence, so they have the capacity to use numbers very effectively, and they have reasoning power. Their reasoning ability is really sharp. Generally, I can tell you that they can play with numbers. We have seen that Mendel calculations. There are people, and see here, we have seen that the shopkeepers, or the if the n number of, nowadays, like if you go to supermarket, generally, like we get a bill like after. So here in our local grocery shops and all, they would be calculating very early, and the big list also, like now within a few minutes they calculate and give us. So it's a Mendel calculation, no? So the children who are having this potential, no, the who has the capacity to use number very effectively, so, or who can solve the mathematic problems very easily, and and because we have seen that there are children who on the spot, they immediately, like on the spot, they solve the problem. So before the teacher finish writing the question, and now you can see that the children are with answers, like no, they would solve the problems. So people with this intelligence thinks by reasoning, and they love experimenting, they love questioning, okay, and another activity which they love is figuring out logical puzzles, solving the puzzles, logical puzzles, and different calculation, oral calculation, they love to do it. So if you identify our children, if they're having this potential, understand that they are excel in mathematics, or they have the logical intelligence or mathematical intelligence. So see here various, so when the activities, or the general calculations or generalization, classification, or puzzling, this all now are the interested areas of these children. So being parents, we have to understand that if they really, because and there are children, we have seen that in olympiads or in various stage programs, and all our children, they really excuse me, yeah, they really excel in mathematics calculation, mental calculation, because we have seen that various television programs where our children are participating in this kind of activities. And we know that, like I think we all have the example of our own Indian lady called Shakuntala Devi. Now we have a movie on that also. So we have seen that there was a time where the television or the social media was not popular. Now we have seen through this movie called Shakuntala Devi, like what was the potential of her. I think recently, like we have a lot of videos on her. So that is really surprising that in early 60s or 70s or 80s, like she was, she was addressing the people around the world through her mathematical ability, right? So we have children like her in our we have children like her, so we have to understand their potential. They can do wonders in their own areas. So we know that if you have the mathematical ability or mathematical potentials, so you can guide them to go in that line, and see they really can achieve great heights in these lines. And we are forcing so I know like different examples, because we get the kind of students in Bangalore for our B.Ed classrooms. Like here, it's not like too limited like Kerala. Like here, we can even take the students, those who are having the engineering background, because any graduation they mention, we get even the graduates like dentist. So the various students, like after working in different fields, and when especially the ladies, if they can't go ahead with their that work and family and all, so they would prefer to do teaching, or not prefer to work as a teacher, and they come and do this courses. So what I mean to tell you is, see here, like diverting. So after doing this course, they would realize that, oh, this is my cup of tea, I could do it. So after like roaming around different places and then settling one thing, so wasting of money, energy, and time. So it is better always identify the potential of our children, and immediately they can choose the right profession which they like to do it. And we have different examples of mathematicians, Aryabhatta, Ramanujan, and a lot of Euclid. And see here, I don't want to mention. So here there are so many people in today also. I think even we have seen that the different children, they are really playing with maths. I can say that the calculations. Okay, so this is possible. And remember that generally we parents would complain that my child is not that good at mathematics, and they are liking science or art subjects and all. Even we can attend to them in the very young age or in the primary classes, okay, to give the mental calculation, and to make them to be interested in these areas in a way, in such a way that, like making them to solve small problems, and give him the logic or ideas, then they start doing it. Okay, so we have various activities. You can, they would be really loving who likes mathematics, or who has this potential called linguistic or mathematical intelligence. They would be really liking to do analyzing, categorizing, that is patterns and problem solving and so on. Okay, so you can choose any of these activities which they like to do it, and help them to be more sharp in this intelligence. Moving on to the next intelligence called spatial intelligence. So this is the intelligence. Okay, this is the intelligence. I think a few we have identified in few children, right? Like spatial intelligence, which is the brain's ability to perceive and interpret visual stimuli. That means, see here, you can your mind can process what you see exactly. That we have seen in artists, right? We have seen in like architects or civil engineers and or like say exactly, because we know that sometimes when you want to draw a plan for your dream house, like immediately after the discussion they give you a sketch. That means easily they can process in their mind, they can perceive what you wanted, what you wanted. So so you can, they can easily understand the patterns, they can easily understand or the structure, etc. So the people who falls into this group, which we call them as the people with possessing with spatial intelligence. So spatial intelligence is very important in arts and especially in our everyday life also. So, see here, this is a quality which we possess, okay, like the way we visualize the things. So here, the children who can visualize, who can perceive the things very easily, and sometimes if it is they are putting into the drawing forms, okay, or if they are making in a art form, okay. So their perseverance or the way they perceive the things, they are transferring into something like called drawing or painting or sculpture, etc. So especially your movies, see directors what they would do, because what the writer has written or what they have perceived as it is, they try to make it right. So in arts, the ability to transfer a vision to a painting or a sculpture or film is a key quality. So as I told you, the architect or the civil engineer, so which they make a blueprint for us, right? So any kind of blueprint which you make, that is a visual representation. So spatial intelligence is even used by average people to remember small but important facts. So that is the reason, no, like Garner has told us that each one of us possess these all intelligence to some extent. So generally, like we know that we all possess spatial intelligence to do one or the other work, even a homemaker, right? Or a child, or our own children, like they have their own sketch or a blueprint of like what they wanted to do. So everyone uses spatial intelligence in our life, everyday life. And especially now, I think now we have the support of Google Map to go anywhere and to easily identify the location. But there was a time like we were only going and finding out the locations based on the now oral instructions, right? Or else some instruction given by the people. So but now we have the support of Map. But there are people still like they like to find out in that way. They would take the direction and go without the help of mappers. That means we possess spatial intelligence to some extent. So we know that like when you possess, because we have the people like Emma Hussein, right? We have famous architects, painters, and people like graphic designers, fine arts people. So these all are fashion designers nowadays. Look, these all possess, and especially our pilots, these all people should possess actually. Okay? I mean, they possess spatial, a good amount of spatial intelligence. That is the reason we can say that their spatial intelligence is high when you compare with the other people. So we have the children who possess spatial intelligence, and remember that they could take that as a career, because we parents believe that because if it is only studies or it is in this line only, then that could make us a career. So it is not so, like even they can excel in their own areas, because we have these all people are the example of examples who has showed us that with the help of spatial intelligence, or because their dominant intelligence was spatial intelligence, and who were successful in their own lines. The painters, the directors, right, the aviators, the photographers, inventors, the painters, architects. We have an n number of lists. And moving on to the next intelligence, just bodily kinesthetic intelligence. So here, these children or who possess this intelligence called bodily kinesthetic intelligence, they can use their whole body to express ideas and feelings. So they can be a sports person or a dancer or an actor. It is like who can use their body to express their own ideas and feelings. So especially you can see that the examples are like the famous dancers, actors, the sports persons. So they are having this intelligence called bodily kinesthetic intelligence. So this is the ability to use one's hands to produce and transform things. So hands-on things. Okay. So where you have hands-on movements, where you have kinesthetic intelligence, okay, or where you are using your body to express something, then we can call them as the people with bodily kinesthetic intelligence. So all our dancers, all our athletes, all our sports persons, they especially possess this one. See, that's the reason I just quoted the example of Sachin Tendulkar, because so we were believing that only studies or like if you are into that academic area only, like we are intelligent. It is not so. So we know that these all successful people are there who loves dance, who loves sports, who are the athletes, who are the actors, right? So we have so many examples, so who use their body to express what they wanted to communicate. And so these are the various things which they enjoy. If you identify any qualities of our children in these lines, so we have to encourage them, we have to promote them into these lines rather than studies or no. Then so they they could excel in these areas called sports, arts, or no, dance, drama, etc. Like this all these areas. So they are liking these kind of activities, acting demonstrations like gymnastic, role playing. So schools and all, like especially nowadays, like you have a role play in your own different subjects. So or martial arts, these all lines now they can shine. So this is another intelligence, like we have to identify generally. Only we have seen that few educationists, that is maybe if it is a teachers or even the parents, like few people only would be supporting the children who possess this. And we have seen that the parents are, especially if they are excelling in this area also, we would force them to take up some other job, or we would guide them in some other lines. Okay. So the possible carriers are like who can use their body to excel, to express or to communicate in different way, or the hands-on movement. So they can be the athlete, actors, carpenter, and inventor. So like in any in dance form, actors. So any of this career, again you have different list. Okay, it is not only limited to this one. So we have a lot of examples. I think most of the people, it is familiar to you, the example which has been given here. So these all are the successful people who possess bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Okay. And moving on to the next intelligence, which is called musical intelligence. So which is very clear that it's about music, right? So there are children who would love to like express everything in a music way, right? So if it is musical, if you call them as musically intelligent, it means that you are able to distinguish the sounds around you. We have, I think, recently only, I think, in recent decade only, like we started identifying sound engineers, right? And even now they have a great profession ahead. So it is easy for them to understand or to identify or to distinguish the sounds around you, and that you have the ability to make your own melodies. So here, the children, I think you might have seen that the children generally, if you sit in a class, they would be tapping on their table or desk, right? And very rhythmic in learning anything. So, no, making on music or writing on songs. Okay, so these children, they possess musical intelligence. I think after no Oscar award, that is of Rasul Pukuti only. I think people identified here that there is a profession called sound engineer, right? That means like, the successful people, they show us, a path like, okay, this is another profession. And now you can see that like, this is now we have so because of social media, you can see that this the people who possess musical intelligence, they have a great platform to express their talent. So if you are musically intelligent, you are able to perceive, you are able to discriminate, you are able to transform and express everything in a musical form. So generally, I would like to say that like they try to express everything in a musical form. Okay, so they can create their own, music. So they can write their own notes. They can write their own songs. So this is another intelligence which you can identify in our children. Okay, and I think generally, that because the people who are especially they are having the potential in these lines, after a few years they give up this one, because and they choose another profession, because then we would believe that this profession is not good, or this profession you cannot be successful. And even though they have extraordinary potential also. And we have seen that the story of the story of A.R. Rahman. And he started, I think, like now in the introduction, like Mahfik has quoted that. See here, one of the example we have seen that the children at the age of 5 or 7, no, even if they have not learned, also they have inborn qualities of been handling different musical instruments. Or else there are children without without classical training also, they would sing. So these are all the inborn qualities. Okay, so these are the different areas which they can work. No, they can write a song, they can be a musician, or they can play different musical instrument. They can become a singer. It is not only song means immediately like it comes to our mind that singer, right? So they can be a sound engineer. So like in which area in musical intelligence or musical area in particularly, which one is their talent, they can choose, or they can go ahead with that one. So we have a lot of examples, like who plays musical instruments, and who all are the successful music directors, who all are the successful musicians. Okay, in our country or in the world. And this is another intelligence which is called interpersonal intelligence. So this is also called as, okay, an intelligence, because I think there was a time like when this theory was no this theory was given or brought out by Dr. Howard Carney. There was a question that was it considered as a intelligence? And this is a question, I think, when he was in India, like most of the people asked. So he has given now very very jammed examples for this. So interpersonal intelligence is called as people smart. So they, these people who is having the understanding of the other people. I mean, who can understand the other people really well. You can connect to other people really well. It is also very important, right? So it is not only in a relationship. It is not only in a institution called marriage or a family. Like it is important, equally important, that to understand other people. So it is an ability we all need, and but is at a premium if you are a teacher or a clinician or a salesperson or a doctor or a politician. We know that it's any profession or any people, like they should be all possessed to some extent, but there are people whose interpersonal intelligence is very very low, because they are really introvert, or they have the intrapersonal intelligence only, not interpersonal intelligence. So anybody who deals with the other people has to be skilled in the interpersonal sphere. So anybody who can understand other people, who can understand their emotions, okay, who can understand their interests, aptitudes, okay. So we can call them as the people with the people who are possessing interpersonal intelligence. So who possess this one, if the children, if they possess the friends, they can understand their friends, they can easily easily work in groups. Today's education system is a collaborative learning, and we have the teachers uses various cooperative learning strategies in the classroom. So this allows students to get the feedback and work accordingly. So doing their projects. So be in the groups who can understand others' feelings, who can easily communicate with others, intelligence. So we know that all our leaders, they require interpersonal intelligence. So
Is everything okay?
excuse me, yeah.
Okay.
Network issue.
I think we are okay.
Okay, fine. So we would expect that the doctor listen to us, address us, understand our problem. And there are some doctors, I think we know that like immediately after just hearing you, okay, they write the prescription and they send you. So we would not be feeling that satisfaction, and we would like that they always hear you, understand your problem, even though if it is small or big, right? So that means your interpersonal skill, which is or interpersonal intelligence, which is required for all these people. And the next intelligence is called as interpersonal intelligence. So as I just mentioned few careers here, this all I just mentioned that because see here, if you possess this intelligence, like if interpersonal intelligence, so there is all people who the given example, they have to understand the other people while communicating with them, right? So moving on to the next one, that is intrapersonal intelligence. So intrapersonal intelligence, that is self knowledge, or which is the knowledge about us, which is the ability to understand our strengths and weaknesses. So which is also very important. Sometimes we would not be knowing what is our strength or weaknesses also. The kind of intelligence where you are knowing your strength, or weaknesses also, the kind of intelligence where you are you are understanding yourself. So intrapersonal intelligence is a self knowledge and the ability to act adaptively on the basis of that knowledge. So here now this is the exact knowledge about yourself. It's the exact knowledge about oneself, that is one's strength and weaknesses. That means you are very much aware of your moods, your emotions, your intentions, your aspirations, your desires, okay? And like what you are, that is like how disciplined you are, or you can, in general you can call it as the self understanding of you, or your self esteem. So we are very much aware of this one. So essentially, like, it is how well you know about yourself. Still, sometimes see here, we have noticed that in some sections, when we do, like when you ask somebody to write your strength and weaknesses, after one or two points, like now we get stuck there, and we would not be like immediate strength and weaknesses you would be knowing. But we know that like there are, when the situation arises, when the problem arises, that at that particular point of time only we would be understanding that I have this weakness, or at that particular point only, like we would be realizing that I have the strengths, right? So to list out our strength and weakness also sometimes it is difficult for us. So here there are children who understand their strength and weaknesses very well, and they would be able to understand very well, and they know, they really know that they wanted what they wanted to become, right? Or which kind of job they can take up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I just interrupt for a second? Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure whether my.
Fine. We are, no, we are just concluding.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Good. Thanks.
Fine. And so we have the list of people who, excuse me, yeah, no, like who possess intrapersonal intelligence. And so here, these all people, who possess, self knowledge. They can really, lead them. I mean, they can really handle them. And this is the last intelligence, okay, last dimension of intelligence, that is called naturalistic intelligence. So, so here these people are like, no, they really love nature. No, they really love to do or connect with outdoors things or animals. Or so you can see that these people are having the ability to identify and classify patterns in nature. Okay, I mean everything in the nature. So they are the, we can call them as no, nature lovers. Or like your the people who are, really like to study outside, or who likes forest, who like the nature, or especially the biologist, right, who likes plants, pets, animals, etc. So this is the no, last type of intelligence, or last dimension of intelligence, classified by Dr. Howard Gardner. So these all are the, potentials of the people who loves nature. No, it is easy for them to deal with the environment, nature, etc. And we have, the examples of Charles Darwin, and famous biologist, geologist, environmentalist. No, this all like, we have heard of. So even the children who possess this intelligence, okay, this dimension of intelligence, could take up any careers in these lines, and we have to even encourage them. So remember that each one of us possess all eight intelligence in varying levels, and most people can develop each intelligence to an adequate level of competency. Okay, so that's what, like, even though if we have for level of intelligence in some area is, even if it is low, like, through practice, or through education, you can develop to some extent. And intelligence usually work together in very complex and cooperative ways. So we have to understand that, and we have to guide our children in that lines. And see, there are many ways to express intelligence with each category. So this is all things like we have to understand that, like, we have various dimensions of intelligence. And after understanding the potential of our children, we have to guide them in those lines, rather than imposing them with something like which we wanted them to become. So here, I would like to conclude. And thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you all.
Okay, this is really awesome. I know we ran a little bit over the time. I know this topic is really broad. We could probably talk another. I think with the enthusiasm we have, probably could talk another few more hours. I know it's too early there, so I just want to conclude. The discussion which we had here. Dr. Famila is from India. I actually didn't mention that earlier. So she took her early hours, probably like 5:36 in the morning, to come attend this session and provide us all this, exciting information. And so is some of our people from our community as well, who have joined from India, and also for all those people who have joined us here in Canada on this weekend evening hours, and any part of North America. I want to thank you all for joining us. Uh, as we started this whole discussion with a short story, I also want to share a couple of experiences which I had, related to this area. So I know a family who have, who sent their daughter. She was very much interested in, she was a good reader. She was very enthusiastic in, becoming a journalist, who was forced to send to study engineering. Okay, she did engineering and then she got a job. And what she did was she saved the money to become a journalist after. So so that's the power of intelligence you have on the directions you want to become. So we want to assure that the directions we provide to our kids, to the people we know, should be the optimal one for them, right? I know from our family itself. I know a couple who's doctors, both doctors, whose kid is actually doing art in University of Toronto. Okay, so that's probably the direction we want to give our kids, right? We want to know what they are capable of, what they are interested in, and help them in their direction. So with that note, I want to first of all thanks Dr. Famila for providing all these insights to us, and also to MMAC for this great opportunity for all of us to get together on this nice evening to discuss this. Thank you all.
Okay, Mafika, any questions? Any clarification? Okay. Yeah. Okay, Azil. See, there are so many, Adil. I want to tell you that there are so many online tests. Okay, standardized tests are there, which is we have free tests, and we have no paid test also. And you can just check. Actually, I think we are running short of time. A small test I thought of giving you, but I think we don't have the time. Again, you can take up. The online test we have, you can just go to the website called personalitymax.com. You can take up the multiple intelligence test there, you can take up some personality test there. Okay, so we have a lot of online tests. You can just go through go through that one, and you can take up any of those tests, and where you will be understanding your strength and weaknesses.
Thank you, Dr. Famila. I think the reason is that we were short on time, so we
Yeah.
would have to cut short the presentation, unfortunately. I think there are people who are saying here that they wish that the presentation could go on a bit more.
Yeah.
But I guess what we can do is, if there are people who are interested, you can always contact Dr. Famila with
Fine,
more
sure. Yeah.
questions, if that is all right.
Yeah, sure.
Of course. So once again, on behalf of MMAC, Dr. Famila, thank you so much for taking the time and
It's my
explaining
pleasure.
this wonderful session for us. I think we will be now concluding this presentation and concluding this stream as well. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night and have a good morning, Dr. Famila.